The Korean War was fought primarily between the two sides of Korea, North and South. After Japanese colonization, North and South Korea were divided at the 38th parallel. North Korea wanted to militarily take over and unite Korea. At one point, North Korea sent a peace offering and requested a Korea-wide election to choose the government that would rule all of Korea, but South Korea refused. Early in 1949, Kim Il-sung tried to convince Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, to lend his support for an invasion of the South. However, Stalin declined. He was concerned about whether the North Korean military was prepared for such an invasion, as well as the potential for America to get involved. Having been denied support from Stalin, the communist leadership of the North Korea worked for a year to improve the Korean People's Army, building them up into an impressive offensive force modeled after the Soviet Army. Now, with training and support from both China and the Soviet Union, the North had held a significant advantage over the South. Finally, Stalin gave his approval for an invasion in April of 1950. The Korean War started on June 25th, 1950, when the Northern Korean people invaded South Korea. This invasion occurred at several vulnerable locations along the 38th parallel. Seeing the potential for the communism of the North to take over the entire peninsula, and concerned about the involvement of the Soviet Union and Communist China in this invasion, President Harry S. Truman joined the United States Air, Ground, and Naval Forces to the combined United Nations forces to support the defense of the Republic of Korea. At the head of the United Nations Command (UNC) was Commanding General Douglas MacArthur. As the war dragged on, there seemed to be no end in sight. Although the North had lost about 500,000 men, the size of their army had reached about 1.2 million soldiers with the support of China. In the South, the combined forces of ROK, the US, and other allies was nearly 800,000 with over 1,400 aircraft. It was determined by the leaders on both sides that it would be impossible to achieve military victory without unacceptably high numbers of casualties. On May 17, 1951, the U.S. National Security Council announced that they would support a democratic united Korea, but that this didn't have to come about through military victory. On December 2nd, 1952, President-elect Dwight D. Eisenhower traveled to Korea, where he was briefed on the military and political situation. Seeing that the troops were sustaining casualties without any improvement in the situation, President Eisenhower decided to try to put an end to the fighting using diplomacy and military showmanship. Finally, on July 27, 1953, an armistice was signed, leaving the Korean peninsula split at the 38th parallel as much as it had been since the end of World War II.